This episode is sponsored by Google. It's Safer Internet Day. We sign into dozens of online accounts each day, and using strong, unique passwords is critical to keeping them safe. Luckily, Google Password Manager makes this easy by helping you create and securely save strong passwords for the sites and apps you use. So try Google Password Manager and make today safer listening, shopping, streaming day. You get the idea. Get started at passwords.google.
Hey y'all, I'm April.
And I'm Caroline.
And this
is your Bloody Happy Hour.
Caroline, are you ready for this?
This is your newest guilty pleasure.
It's the bloodiest part of your week.
Did we say something about it also being happy hour?
Show did.
Because we about to be sipping on some murder. Bloody Happy Hour.
Hey y'all, this is April.
And this is Cassandra.
Did I just get a new partner?
Maybe.
This is Caroline's once-a-year sexy porn voice.
Yep.
So we're naming her
Cassandra.
Cassandra. I
Because
love it.
It just fits.
It fits. I love when Cassandra is here.
If you want a little ASMR, today's when you're going to get it.
Today's the day.
April might get real excited and fall out of her chair.
I was
You're
so
getting a
excited
little
when she
vocal
told me she was
fry.
sick.
I was like, you're going to get some raspiness today. And she was like, yay.
It's like when Phoebe Buffet got sick off Friends and she sang the best she's ever sang. And so she kept trying to get sick because she sang so good. You even laugh like a Cassandra.
I know.
You're doing my voicemail after this. Okay, y'all, this is Bloody Happy Hour.
Welcome.
Welcome. And we got a quickie for you. That means Caroline's telling you all the good things that are in the news. And we keep up with all of our old stories too. But first, we have two sponsors we need to shout out. The first one is Manscaped.
I love Manscaped.
Cassandra seems like a person who enjoys some Manscaped. And you know what? Valentine's is coming up. And if you use code BHH, you get 20% off your person's Valentine's present. And that can be anything, whether you want them to have some great boxers, some weed whackers, ball deodorant, whatever it is, you should be clean and groomed for Valentine's or Caroline's birthday. It's the same thing.
Oh my God. Or Sweet Pea's birthday.
Oh, yes, it's tomorrow.
Oh my gosh, it's tomorrow?
Yes,
Oh my
yes, yes.
gosh.
Okay, and then who's our other sponsor?
For Sigmatic.
Yes.
I feel like I probably should have had some today. Maybe it would have helped.
You would have been cured.
Yeah, I would have been cured.
So basically, they figured out how to do coffee better than anybody else because it's not just your coffee grounds. It's coffee grounds plus mushrooms, Caroline.
Oh, mushrooms.
And it's really, really, really...
just good for you.
Yeah, it is. And you get all the same benefits you would from coffee. Somebody texted and was like, well, I still go to the bathroom. Yes, it will still cleanse you.
Oh, yeah.
But you also get extra things like...
Yeah, you get extra focus. You get energy.
Yes.
You get
clarity. You're not as stressed.
It's basically all the things you ever wanted.
And if you're not a coffee drinker, you can have the protein powder or the cacao or the elixirs.
I love an elixir.
How do they order that? I feel like I'm whispering so I can not overpower your voice.
You have to just keep talking loud. I'm going as loud as I can.
Okay.
But I'm usually louder, so it's okay. You go to go.forsigmatic.com/happyhour.
That is it. Is that a question?
I feel like it's kind of a question.
Cassandra's a little unsure, but that was right.
A lot of Dayquil and a lot of other
meds.
Non-congestants. Ricola.
So you will get a 30% discount if you go to that website and order and you enter that code happy hour. So you're welcome. And that's also a good Valentine's present. So there you go. You have two Valentine's options. Caroline, before we get started on the stories, I want to just thank all of our listeners, our OG listeners. If you're a brand new listener, then stay with us. We are bound to say something you love or hate. And so Either way,
Oh,
after
yeah.
you're done, go rate us and review us because we want to hear the feedback.
And if you want to see how beautiful we look, because we are gorgeous.
I mean, we do have makeup artists and our own hairstylists, so
Yeah,
don't be too
obviously.
shocked when.
Don't be shocked when you see us on the YouTubes and you're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
These bitches are tens, and tens.
10s out of 10s.
I mean, who would have thought that's what that looks like? Wow.
Yeah. So follow us on all the platforms and go ahead and subscribe now. So today is your shorty, your quickie is what we call it. We'll tell you all the news, but if you tune in on Thursdays, we tell you a full story. Okay.
What's going on in the news right now, April?
Listen, I'm sure you're going to tell me.
Well, let me tell you what there is happening right now. There is a trial. There's a little small trial happening.
Okay.
You know about the Murdaugh trial? Well, we might have just talked about that.
We just talked about it.
But it's been going on, and it started off kind of slow.
Okay.
You know, it's kind of hard watching, and you know all the background of the story because you know how shitty of a guy this Alex is. And you're like, but do you think, with what you know, that he could kill his own son? Like, that's what people are having such a hard time with is.
I don't know. Do they not watch true crime? Like, we read about people killing their kids all the time.
They're like, I just can't believe he could kill his own son. I get that, you know, husbands kill their wives and like spouses kill each other, but not your own child. I'm like,
no, happens
people
all the
kill
time.
their children all the time.
All the time.
I mean, it's
they need to tune in.
but like they obviously need to start watching Bloody Happy Hour and listening to it as well. So they're just you have to prove that he stole all this money and he did all these other financial crimes, but is he a murderer? Is he a murderer?
Yeah. And
they're starting to finally get into the weeds of like his finance. They're just trying to prove that there was motive, and there's these Snapchat videos. I mean, there's a lot of things showing he did lie, but it'll be interesting. We got a couple more weeks left.
Okay. My friend texted me just yesterday, and she was like, can you just give me a quick rundown of the Murdaugh murders? Because everybody on my team's talking about it, and she's more into like cartel and like drug type stuff, where she doesn't really follow this. And I was like, just wait, Caroline's got an episode coming out now. So I sent it to her this morning.
Yeah, if you haven't, there's a lot, but we did episode last week that is a pretty good recap of all the things.
It covers it all.
That kind of led up to it. Yeah.
So what's happening now?
So did you hear about the LSU case? The girl?
A little bit.
Okay. So there's this girl, Madison Brooks, and she's a sophomore in college at LSU. So I'll give you the recap, and then we'll kind of go through the details. So she goes to this bar called Reggie's, and she gets there around like 10 p.m., and she meets these like 4 random guys there, and one of them is under 18. So it's a bar where you can drink. I guess you're supposed to be 21 and up. She's 19. So anyways, Reggie's is closed down now because they are over serving people.
Oh.
So there's this bar. There's underage people there drinking, obviously. Okay. So over the next 4 hours while they're there, Maddie is drinking. Maddie Madison, that's the girl. She's drinking, and she's drinking along with these guys. And around like 1:50, she is seen on video camera, like surveillance camera, leaving this bar. And she's like she's drunk. She's like falling on the outside. She's falling down. She's being helped outside. People are helping her stand up. Then you can see her and these 4 guys leave the bar, get into a car, and this car is driven by this guy named Cason Carver. Mm-hmm. So they leave Reggie's. They get in the car, they drive a short distance, they pull over, and over the next hour or so, Maddie is either raped or has consensual sex with 2 of the guys in the back seat while they take turns on her, while the other 2 guys are in the front seat videotaping.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. So while this happens, Cason, the oldest guy, the guy that's in the front, or Cason's the driver, him and the oldest guy is Everett. And they're in the front, and they eventually are like, we got to stop this. We got to stop this. Wow.
Now it's over.
After you videoed it, they're like, I'm taking her home. They say they asked her for her address. They said she didn't remember her address. So they drop her off and she gets hit by a car. She gets rushed to the hospital and later dies at the hospital. So here's some details. So she is...
I couldn't remember how she died.
So January 14th, there's video footage that was obtained by the sheriff's department. It shows her getting to the bar. And then it shows Case and Carver and Kayvon Washington. They're both 18 years old. And then Everett Lee, this guy's 28 years old.
Oh, shit.
And then there's the 17-year-old. They haven't released his name because he's a minor. So they have these are the 4 guys. They go inside the bar and they see the 17-year-old. He's the one who's like hugging up on her, just taking her hat off of her head, just flirting with her and stuff.
And now a word from our sponsors.
Welcome to One Star Rewind, a new podcast about those dreaded one-star reviews that every business owner hates to receive, but yet every customer loves to read. During this podcast, we will peel back that one-star review to better understand how it happened, when it happened, and what the business owner is doing after receiving that one-star review. This podcast will be about love, hate, and laughter. On One Star Rewind, we will meet with real business owners who will tell their stories and how they do rely on reviews for their business. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, or download us at roguemedianetwork.com. Please subscribe, but only rate and review for not a one-star review. Join us each time for a new review and a new story.
Hi, this is Sarah.
And I'm Carter.
And this is Some of Our Thoughts.
We're 2 Southern sommeliers, and we want to share everything we love and know about wine. We started hanging out during quarantine and cooking and drinking and listening to music, and we just thought this would be a great way to bring everything we know to you guys.
We will make wine knowledge and food pairings easy and approachable. So put on your favorite vinyl, grab your favorite glass of wine, tune into our show, and let's have some fun.
Wine and vinyl. So check us out on roguemedianetwork.com or wherever you get your favorite podcast. We'll be talking about a lot.
Bros and heroes. Gonna tell you about bros and heroes. Gonna tell you about.
Hey, I'm Zach.
And I'm Mike.
And we have a fantastic new podcast to tell you about. Bros, Foes, and Heroes. It's the 2 of us looking into the world of comics, breaking down some characters that you may have never heard of, and some that are just absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, so Zach comes up with a character each time, and I go into it just completely blind. I don't know who this person is or what their abilities are or anything, and basically I guess we kind of go over their origin story and just some of the ridiculous stuff that maybe, especially Golden Age stuff.
Oh, Golden Age stuff is always the best, and we will make sure to highlight all of the shenanigans and just absolute weirdness of everything.
Yeah, that's right. So subscribe today and follow us on Instagram at Bros Foes Heroes.
And if you don't, I know where you live. Not really, but please subscribe.
Bros and Foes and Heroes. Gonna tell you about Bros and Foes and Heroes. Gonna tell you about.
So then that's when around 1 o'clock, Madison is seen on a stool, sitting on a stool, and she like stands up to readjust her pants, stumbles backwards, falls off the stool. So she's like stumbling around inside, and they help her get, 3 of the guys help her stand back up. While she's standing back up, she falls again near the entrance. This is when she's like falling as she's trying to walk out. I mean, she's clearly wasted.
Yeah.
So it's like 1:49, they leave the bar. They're seen walking. They get into this parked vehicle. These are the 4 guys. That's the 20. Everett's the 28-year-old. So they say the police department get the phone call that there's been a fatal crash, and that's where Madison was hit by the car. She's rushed to the hospital. They can't save her. So this Case and Carver guy on the 16th, January 16th, tells the police that he and 3 others went to the bar, tells them what happened. They drank a little bit, but he says that he denies ever seeing Madison. And then
He's the old one?
He's the driver.
Okay.
And he then tells the police, well, she might have walked with us a little bit. Like it's all on video, and he's videotaped it. So. Then he's like, they're leaving the bar, and then he's like, well, she wasn't really able to walk, so we helped her walk to the car. I mean, he's like, he totally backtracks his whole story. It's so dumb. And then he was like, she wasn't really able to talk, and she was really slurring, and she asked for a ride home. Oh, God. Then he finally admits that they agreed to give her a ride home. So he's like, first he doesn't know her, then he's like, oh yeah, well, I forgot.
A little bit comes out at a time.
I forgot. So he says that they gave her a ride home because they didn't want to leave her because she was very intoxicated and the bar was closing.
Okay.
So then he says that when asked about their friends, she said that she was drunk, she didn't know where she was, and then that he was a driver. The older guy was in the passenger seat, like I said. The other 2 guys were in the back. He says that he asked for her address, but then she fell over and couldn't answer him. And so then she was insisting on getting out of the car, and so that's why they let her get out of the car. It was like they said a cross street, so I'm assuming it's just like this intersection where it's probably busy. And he then also told police that he overheard the 17-year-old ask Madison 5 times if she wanted to have sex with him. And that the victim, that he says that she gave verbal consent. Why do you ask 5 times if she gave consent? And then he said that's whenever the two guys in the back seat alternating having sex with her, and there was like anal sex. Oh shit. And yeah, it was so real bad. He said that he thought Madison was drunker, and that her speech was slurred, but he also said that he felt so uncomfortable and he hated being there. But then they're also saying that she consented to it.
Well, and that becomes the question. And I don't know if Texas, a lot of states that if a girl is inebriated, then she can't consent.
Yeah.
So like I would always tell my son, no means no, but drunk means no too. Because they wake up and they forget or whatever, right?
Yeah. He said during the interview that he was asked if the victim was too impaired to consent to sexual intercourse, and he replied, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, damn. They said so they did the autopsist did what the autopsist does, and said that she had injuries consistent with sexual assault, and that, you got to look for like, there could be like bruising from maybe fingers like holding her down, or if there's any rips or tears or lacerations. So that's how they can tell if it's sexual assault versus like consensual.
Yeah.
Or like rape versus.
So there has to be stuff on other parts of the body and not just like there.
and it's gotta just, be rough and just,
Yeah.
yeah. So then that's whenever they said that she died from multiple traumatic injuries from the car hitting her.
Okay.
Or basically being run over by the car. Her BAC, her blood alcohol level, was 0.319.
What the hell?
She was overserved.
She was. And was she a small girl?
She looks, I don't know her height.
Well, and then you're young. Like, she's 19. You don't know what to do. Nobody really knows what to do with alcohol.
Look up Madison Brooks and see how tall she was. She was like this cute blonde girl. She looked like a little cheerleader. So.
Oh, and so then she's white and all of them are black.
Well, I think it's two black guys and a Mexican guy.
Oh, they gone.
They gone. Wait, who's the fourth? Oh, that's her. But we don't.
Oh, there's a white boy in there.
He
or a
looks
Mexican
like
boy.
Yeah, he's like yellow or white. I'm yellow today. And then the 17-year-old, though, we don't know what he looks like.
But even to
that's Kason. That's the guy who's doing all this talking. That dude, he has like a lazy eye or some shit.
It's gonna be a very holy case, I think, because
listen. So Carver and Lee. So two of them were charged with principles, third-degree rape. I don't know what principles to third-degree rape. One of them was charged with three of them were charged with third-degree rape. In Louisiana, third-degree rape involves sexual intercourse that is deemed to be without the lawful consent of a victim, according to state law. So then it says that attorneys for the suspects argue that the video showed the video of them that they showed, that they took the video of the people having sex with her. Like, really?
Yeah.
The video showed the victim was not drunk to the point to where she was unable to consent to sex. I mean, come on. And that she willfully got into the car. And the attorney was like, this is absolutely not a rape. This is the guy's attorney. But that he acknowledges that she did appear intoxicated. But she couldn't walk. To the point under the law that you say you're in a drunken stupor to the point that you cannot lawfully give consent. That is, he says, that was absolutely not the case in this case. I don't.
With the BAC of
exactly
1,000.
Exactly. So then the three of the adult guys, they were scheduled to appear in court for bond hearings, and the judge viewed the footage.
Okay.
The video footage that the boys took, and he watched it, and he said,
he's pissed if he's got a daughter.
Yeah. It was callous that the boys were callously laughing at Madison, who appeared to slur. She spoke, and he said the video did not include the alleged rape. So I don't know what they videoed them doing to her.
That would be extra stupid if you're videoing that.
Extra.
Like, you don't video rape. You may video some consensual sex.
Yeah. Prosecutors announced that they will be seeking to charge them with first-degree rape. I don't know what's third degree, first degree. I don't know how the difference in all that, but it differs by state as well.
Yeah.
So I don't think this is anything that was planned. One of them is held on bond, $150,000 bond. One of them, Carver and Lee, posted bond and were released the same day. So they're out just, I mean, yeah. So that is awful. And so, I mean,
yeah,
I don't know.
And I go back to where's her friends, Madison? Where's your friends? Like,
who was she with at the bar?
Exactly.
Surely she went with somebody.
So then they left her because she didn't plan to meet up with them. It was just like incidental that she met these guys.
Oh, her friend probably did. Friend was like, "Oh, girl, I gotta go."
No.
I was gonna do this other story. Did you hear about this Massachusetts mom that she? Yeah.
But I don't know the ins and the outs. I don't
either.
But I do know she was red flagging a nurse. So I always tell my nurse friends.
Lindsay Clancy tried to strangle her 3 kids and then kill herself, and she survived. And that's the Massachusetts mom. She's the one that survived. She tried to kill her 3 kids and then kill herself.
When the daddy was like going to go get some food or something.
Yes.
Yeah. But then there was a baby that died later on.
Yeah.
Okay, because one was living.
And then the mom who tried to kill herself was unsuccessful.
But she was successful in the other ones.
Like.
But they did say there was a postpartum psychosis diagnosis. And that's why she had been off of work too, dealing with that. And so there's a whole lot with this story.
We'll have to do that one next week.
What was her name again?
Lindsay Clancy.
Okay.
What about the
25-year-old that went to high school and just got arrested?
No, what is that?
I just saw it and it was just random. She's a 25-year-old girl or 26 enrolled in a high school. I don't even know what state. I just passed over and she was
yes,
for a little bit. 29-year-old.
She did.
I was like, who does this bitch's Botox to pass? And like nobody even noticed. But she's like Chinese or something.
Yes,
you know, they're little and absolutely no wrinkles and crazy.
How about Tyree Nichols?
Oh, yeah. I was going to cover that.
Recap?
Yeah.
Okay, so it was about, this was the traffic stop in Memphis.
Yeah.
Tyree Nichols. He was hospitalized after he was pulled over on January 7th. And there's these 5 Memphis Police Department officers who eventually get fired they pull him over, he runs, they tase him, he gets away, then they catch up with him, and then they start just beating him up.
Whooping his ass.
He has no prior record.
No, he was a skateboarder. He had no drugs in the car.
He was just trying to go home.
They had no probable cause for pulling him over.
Suspected reckless driving.
No.
Which, I mean, you can just say that.
Yeah.
So they said, the report said that a confrontation occurred between Nichols and the officers and then it was fled on foot, and then the officers apprehended him, and then another confrontation, and then during the initial altercation involving several police officers, there was pepper spray that was deployed. Nichols ran, and the officers found him at another location to where they were like, the aggression was unexplainable. And then they eventually beat the crap out of him. That's where all this is body cam footage. They released the body cam footage last week. I watched it all. Then there's also that the camera footage that's from like the light pole, like the street camera, which shows the whole thing.
Yeah.
He was eventually rushed to the hospital, and then 3 days later is when he died from his injuries, and everybody was like, and
then like the EMTs got in trouble because they were there and they weren't even.
Yeah, like so 5 guys initially got arrested, but then there was like more people who were doing it. And then all the rumors started going that he was apparently sleeping with one of these officers. And then they were like, no, that's not true. And then like, I mean, there's just like.
They came in very hot. Even if it was reckless driving, like they came in.
Oh, yeah. Excessive force.
Very excessive. And he was compliant. They were like, get down. Well, he was down.
He was down.
Put your hands behind your back. You had him cuffed.
Yeah. Why, though, in like that situation with anybody, does somebody like run?
Because you're scared for your life. And so.
Just that you'll be.
Well. I'm so shocked because those black men know how it is to.
Because this is like black. It's black. There's like no white people. Where's the white people?
No, it's just, I think just the EMTs. But no, it's overzealous cops with big heads, small penises that just want to exert control for whatever reason. And it's like fight or flight, right? You're not going to fight all 4 of them. But you know that you've done everything that they asked, and they're still yelling, and they're still cussing, and they're still hitting you with the baton. And most black men are real fast. So he's thinking, let me let my speed take control, and I'll explain it later. Like, let me just go to my mama. And you at the end, like he's yelling for his mama.
Mom's house is like 50 yards away, or like just down the street.
Yes, and so I probably would have too ran. you never want to give anybody a reason to like shoot at you. And so luckily they didn't shoot at him, but it was just as bad. So
But
I think
there's,
it's more
like-
like fight or flight.
But there's no reason. It's one person, and y'all are 5 armed.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Why you need to beat him with a pole? Like, what is the?
And he was so proper. Like they sounded more like the thug than he did. He was so he was a skateboarder. Like he was not. So like with George Floyd, people were like, oh well, he did drugs or he had a record or whatever. His life didn't matter. You can't say anything about him like that.
Yeah.
That's not an excuse for
Right.
George to get killed. But what are you going to say about this kid? Like he's just a kid.
I know. Like they beat the shit out of him.
Yeah, that poor mama. Goodness, that was good. Okay, y'all, tune in next Tuesday for some updated news, and we will see y'all Thursday for a survival story.
Wow. Do you think Cassandra will be back?
We hope Cassandra's here.
I'll invite her.
Okay. All right, y'all. If you have not already, share one of our episodes with a friend. If y'all have been doing that, thank you, because we are growing and growing. Rate us, review us, and subscribe to us. And we're going to read some reviews on Thursday's episode. So thank you if you've put some in these last couple days.
Love it.
Don't forget to
Stay aware.
stay alive.
And always be DTF.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.
This has been a Rogue Media podcast.